All right, can I have you state your name, spell it, and your title, please?
Yes, State Senator Denny Hoskins, Denny Hoskins.
Great. And what made you want to run for this job as Secretary of State?
Well, I think everything boils down to elections. You know, Missourians want to make sure that our elections are safe and secure. So if we don't have confidence in our elections, it doesn't matter who they say won president, who they say they won U.S. Senate, Secretary of State, state representative, or city council, because we won't trust in that process. So I want to make sure that our elections are safe and secure, and that's been my number one priority.
Okay, great. So we're going to switch gears, and so how do you think the state handled getting Amendment 3 on the ballot, and would you have handled that any differently?
You know, as far as Amendment 3 goes, I think that it has multiple different subjects as far as Amendment 3 goes. I mean, part of it deals with abortion. In my opinion, when we talked about reproductive health care, that could also refer to transgender surgeries. I passed the SAFE Act. The SAFE Act here in the state of Missouri put a ban on transgender surgeries and hormone treatments for kids. Let's just let kids be kids. And so, you know, when they gathered those signatures, I think a lot of people didn't know that it would be so extreme, and that Amendment 3 would allow, would not require parental notification. If your 16-year-old daughter is having an abortion, it would not require parental notification if your 16-year-old son is having transgender surgery. And also, if there was a botched abortion, what Amendment 3, if it passes, you could not sue the doctor for malpractice. So there's a lot of issues with Amendment 3, and I think it's just very extreme.
Gotcha. So would you have handled that situation any differently?
You know, yes, I would have made sure that Amendment 3 was only one single subject. You know, Amendment 3 doesn't refer to the woman at all. And so I think there's multiple different subjects in Amendment 3. I think as voters, they deserve to have the right to vote on each one of those subjects individually. And so yes, I would have had some concerns about putting Amendment 3 on the ballot the way it is, because I think it has multiple subjects, but unfortunately voters only have one yes or no at the bottom.
Gotcha. Do you believe the threshold for initiative petitions should be changed in the state?
You know, the threshold for initiative petitions, no, I don't think as far as the threshold, well, when you're talking about signatures or if you're talking about other things, you know, I did file an initiative petition bill that would change the way something is put in the Missouri Constitution. I think that it should be a little bit more difficult to put in something in the Missouri Constitution. You know, right now we have bingo in the Missouri Constitution, marijuana is in the Missouri Constitution. So yes, I think that it should be a little bit more difficult to put something in the Missouri Constitution. Now, some states don't even have an initiative petition process like our neighbors over in Kansas. I'm not advocating for that at all. But I think that, yes, there should be a little bit higher requirement for putting something in the Missouri Constitution.
Okay, follow-up to that would be, what would you say to those who believe it is a good thing for Missourians to have a voice in creating state law through initiative petition?
Yes, I don't have a problem with initiative petition, and you know, if voters want to go out and gather signatures and things like that. But what we've seen with the initiative petition process, we've seen out of state and even foreign entities come in and try and force their beliefs on Missourians, and that I have a problem with. Currently in the state of Missouri, a foreign entity or foreign government can influence ballot initiatives. That's not against the law. Now, it is against the law for them to participate in elections as far as candidates go, but right now we have out-of-state interest, out-of-country interest that are funneling money into the state of Missouri, trying to push their extreme, liberal, woke agenda on Missourians, and that I can't stand for.
Okay. So part of the Secretary of State's job is overseeing businesses. Do you think Missouri is currently a good state to start up a business? And is there anything you would like to see changed to help businesses in Missouri?
Yes, yeah, I think Missouri's a great place to live and work. I think Missouri's a great place to start a small business, most certainly. One of the things is I've been traveling across the state and visiting with small business owners and entrepreneurs that want to start a business is they say, hey, the website could probably be revamped to make it a little bit easier to navigate. And so hopefully as your next Secretary of State, if elected, then I plan on revamping the website process and making it easier for Missourians to start a business.
Great. So how do you feel about sports betting coming into Missouri, or at least on the ballot this year, and specifically with Amendment 2, where do you stand on that?
Yeah, with Amendment 2, I do have some concerns about Amendment 2 as far as allowing sports betting here in the state of Missouri. I know that Caesars casinos have come out against sports betting on Amendment 2, One of the concerns that I have is I don't think that it puts enough money in for problem compulsive gamblers. When I've talked to the Problem Compulsive Gamblers Association, they said that they need at least $10 million to help with problem compulsive gambling should sports betting pass here in the state of Missouri. So that's one of the concerns I have. And then if you look at the fiscal note says that, hey, as far as sports betting goes to the state of Missouri, the fiscal note could be anywhere from $0, zero tax dollars to the state of Missouri, all the way up to $20 million a year. Well, Amendment 2 has some extra business tax deductions that currently casinos are not able to have as a tax deduction on their business income, and so it allows additional tax deductions that aren't available now to casinos. So if Amendment 3 passes, or Amendment 2 passes, if Amendment 2 passes, then most certainly there's a chance that Missouri could receive zero tax dollars if sports betting is legalized.
Okay. So you've answered all of my questions. I just want to finally throw this out there. Is there anything you would like to tell voters that you think is important for them to know that we might not have touched on?
Yes, most certainly. You know, what I've designed is what I call a contract with Missourians, focused on, number one, election integrity. I think we need a robust audit of our voter rolls. We just saw in the state of Texas, they audited their voter rolls. They found 1 million ineligible voters on their voter rolls, including 6,500 non-citizens. The state of Virginia just did an audit of their voter rolls. They found 6,000 non-citizens on their voter rolls. And even a blue state like Oregon found 1,500 non-citizens on their voter rolls. As the next Secretary of State, I want to make sure that only eligible voters vote here in the state of Missouri, and I'm committed to do that with a robust audit of the voter rolls. Second part of my contract with Missourians would be to help protect kids. Unfortunately, in some of our public libraries, there's X-rated material in the kids section. Number one, it's not appropriate for kids, and number two, your state taxpayer dollars shouldn't be paying for it. So as your next Secretary of State, any funding that comes through the Secretary of State office that goes to our public libraries, I would withhold if they have that X-rated smut in the kids section.
Can I maybe have you elaborate on what that X-rated material is in those libraries?
Yes. Books. There are books that are not appropriate for kids. We're not talking about banning books, but you know, Missourians wouldn't take their 10-year-old daughter or granddaughter to a rated R movie, would they? Most certainly they wouldn't. And some of the stuff that is in those books in the children's section would be classified as a rated R or rated X movie if it was on the movie screen. So all I'm talking about is saying that, hey, those type of books and that type of information that's in those books is not appropriate for kids and shouldn't be in the kids section.
Okay. And do you have anything else that you'd like to touch on before we wrap up?
Just, you know, I've always said that I believe the most secure elections are in person on election day with a photo ID and a paper ballot. And yes, I do have some concerns about the election machines. We saw in Puerto Rico in 2024 in their primary, and just in June of 2024, they used election machines. And after the election, they weren't able to reconcile the difference between the election machines as well as the paper ballots. So, you know, we need to make sure that we do a full forensic audit of any election machines to make sure that they're actually counting the votes correctly.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right, great. I'm going to stop recording.
Okay.